Hare Krishna, Chapter 18, Sloka 66, Part 18. Sarva-dharmān parityajya, mām ekaṁ śaraṇaṁ vraja, ahaṁ sarva-pāpebhyo, mokṣayiṣyāmi ma śucaḥ. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So far, we have learned the glories of Bhakti Yoga. Also, we have learned some challenges that involved in Bhakti Yoga, namely, one's birth, one's knowledge in the scriptures, following the disciplines prescribed in the scriptures, delay in securing spiritual world, the observance of varnashrama dharma, remembrance of the Lord at the time of death, and removal of prarabdha karma. So the question comes, is there a way where one can attain the lotus feet of Sri Krishna irrespective of one's birth, irrespective of complete knowledge of Shastras and the disciplines demanded by the Shastras? Is there a way that I can attain the Supreme Lord in this very lifetime? Is there something irrespective of varnashrama dharma, anyone and everyone can attain the spiritual world? Is it possible for someone to attain the spiritual world even if one can't remember the Lord at the time of death? And is there something where all my karmas, sanchita karmas and prarabdha karma, can be removed this very lifetime? The answer is yes. It is said in the scripture, Bhaktya paramaya vapi prapatya va mahamate prapyoham na anyata prapyo mama kainkarya lipsubhihi. This is said by the Lord himself that bhakti and prapatti are the only means that a jivatma can adapt, for which the Lord will grant the spiritual world to engage and perform service eternally. There is no other means that jivatma can adapt to be rewarded with the service in the spiritual world. Bhaktya paramaya vapi prapatya va mahamate. Bhakti and prapatti. The term prapatti is śaraṇagati. Prapyoham na anyata prapyo. Besides this, there is no other means for one to attain the spiritual world, and mama kainkarya lipsubhihi. Kainkaryam means devotional service. For the jivatma to attain the spiritual world and to be engaged in devotional service is only possible by either bhakti or prapatti. One may raise a question, why is that śaraṇagati is being seen as a separate process? We thought that bhakti and śaraṇagati, prapatti is one and the same. We can understand this as we go into this subject more in detail. Now let's understand what is śaraṇagati. In the Samhita, it is said, Ananya-sadhya swabhishte mahavishvasa purvakam tadeka upayata yancha prapatis śaraṇagatihi. For one who has a strong desire to attain the Supreme Lord, realizes that there is no other means by which he can attain the Lord. He has no other options in his hands to attain the Lord. For such realized souls, he comes to a conclusion that it is the Lord's lotus feet is the only means, upayam, and he begs to the Lord, and through him he attains the spiritual world. Now let's understand this. In our life, when we endeavor to attain or achieve something, it could be anything, there are two ways that can be achieved. Number one, through our own effort, we work hard, we strive, and we attain our goal. Number two, through others' help. After realizing we will not be able to get the goal, achieve the goal by ourselves, therefore we approach someone who can do that for us. Say I want to move an object from one place to another place. I can either try to do it myself if the object is heavier, or I can take help and get it moved. Let's see another example. Say I am hungry and I need some food to eat. That means I have to work hard and earn money and get the food. But I am not able to earn my food by earning money, for whatever the reason it may be. So the only option for me is to beg to someone who has enough food, and the person to whom I am going to beg must be having food. He doesn't become a pauper like me by giving his food to me, which means the giver, Annadhata, must be generous in giving enough food to me. And usually in the world, people save for themselves first and then give the excess to others, such that he doesn't suffer by giving to me. At the same time, I am also happy by receiving from him. In this case, here I did nothing from my side other than just asking for food. Now, what is the triggering factor for the giver? It may appear the triggering factor for the giver is me approaching and asking for food. But on surface level, it may appear so. But in truth, it is the compassion of that giver which is the actual trigger to give me what I needed. If the compassion was not there, even if I beg hundreds and thousands of times, he may not give me even a spoon of food. There are so many wealthy people around the world, but the money does not come out of their pocket to help others just because there is no compassion. That means begging is not sufficient. The compassion in the heart of those people, the givers, need to be present. Else, though they may have money, if they don't have compassion, our begging will have no meaning for them. Why did we see this example? We will know when we apply this to understand Sharanagati. Sharanagati has two requirements. Number one, the receiver, that is, I must have no other qualification. The only qualification that I have is my inability to attain my goal by my own effort. I have no other shelter. Number two, the giver's qualification is compassion, karunyam. Of course, just having compassion is not enough. One may be very compassionate to the beggar, but he himself may not have anything to give. So one should be compassionate as well as able to give the beggar what he needs. So these are the qualification of the giver, compassion and ability. Whereas the qualification of receiver is his inability to attain things by himself, and there is no other shelter for him to go. These are termed as akinchanyam and ananyagatitvam. Akinchanyam means I don't have any credits. I don't have any bank accounts, savings, nothing that I can claim myself to be able to save myself. Ananyagatitvam is I have no other place to go. You are the only place, only shelter. Now let's apply the beggar example again. When I beg to that person, Annadhata, that person sees that I am able, I am fit, and I can earn my own food, either by myself or I have someone else to help me, then he will not give me anything. If he sees that I am very prepared, just in case, if he doesn't give, I have a next door, next house to go and receive. In these cases, he may refuse to give. Why? Because I am fit to earn my own food, or I have other sources to earn my food. Though that person is able to give me what I need, his compassion may not fall upon me. So, the key is if we are independent, where we can take care of ourselves, or we have other resources to help us, other than that rich man, then the rich man may not feed me. When a person is physically challenged, we try to help and care for such people. If someone is fit and able, we leave them alone to take care of themselves. And we have experienced that in our life. If someone is trying to climb the staircase where one is not able to easily do so, we immediately run, give hands and help that person. Whereas another person who is fit and able, we don't see anyone running to such person and giving hand to such person to climb the staircase. But when it comes to mother's nature, even if the child is able and fit, still mother takes care of that child as well in a timely manner, provides whatever the child needs, helps the child, takes care of the child. So we can see whether a child is capable or incapable. A mother helps. Certainly the one which is incapable may require more help, but that doesn't mean the capable is ignored. Similarly, whether we are able to save ourselves or not, when we approach the Lord and accept the Lord and beg the Lord in the mood of surrender, He will help us. This is called śaraṇagati. This śaraṇagati can be done for any reason. It is not necessary, it is only meant for attaining the spiritual world. It could be for any other reasons as well. Uttara in Srimad Bhagavatam, we study that she did śaraṇagati to save her child in her womb. Draupadi did śaraṇagati to save herself from Kauravas. Yudhishthira did śaraṇagati to obtain the kingdom. Arjuna did śaraṇagati for Krishna's guidance. Though one can perform śaraṇagati for various reasons, but the best form of śaraṇagati is to ask for the Lord Himself. Now we often interchangeably using the term śaraṇagati and prapatti. We must know that they are one and the same, which means surrendering unto the Lord's lotus feet as the only means for one's deliverance. The śaraṇagati, prapatti, is better to be understood as a form of knowledge than understanding as an action. And understanding, awareness, realization, it is a particular stage of our buddhi, And this stage of buddhi is said to be the highest stage. It is said highest stage. Why? Because we accept that I am helpless. I can't save myself. And there is no one else who can save me other than you, Krishna. The word prapatti is combination of two root context, pra and pat. Together it means to drop down or to take refuge with. That is, to abandon everything and unconditionally surrendering. Abandoning means dropping. Dropping whatever we think will save me, or dropping the mentality that I can save myself and take complete, absolute, unconditional shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. That is said to be prapatti. Whereas sharanagati means sharaniti agatihi, one who comes as surrendered, or that which takes one close to the ultimate goal, the action that fulfills the desire of one who surrenders. That is said to be sharanagati. There are three factors involved in this one: sharanyan, sharanagata, and sharanagati. Sharanagata is one who has strong desire to attain the Supreme Lord, the spiritual world. Sharanyan is one who takes the sharanagata to his goal, to the spiritual world. Whereas sharanagati is the action that fulfills the desire of sharanagata. It takes one close to sharanyan. Sharanyan is Krishna. Sharanagata is the surrendered soul. Sharanagati is the attitude of personal helplessness at the feet of the Lord. It is the stage of one's buddhi. And we will discuss more when and how one gets a firm conviction that it is the Lord who can save me, in our next session. To conclude today's session, bhakti and prapatti are the only means to attain the spiritual world. Bhakti yoga is challenging, difficult to practice, as we learned a glimpse of 32 vidyas in one of the previous sessions. One's meditation should be intense upon the Lord, which then will make one progress to the supreme bhakti towards the Lord. And that finally secures the spiritual world for the practitioner, the sadhana bhakta. And not anyone and everyone can practice. One must be qualified to practice such vidyas, and the process itself may take several births. In other hand, for one desirous of moksha without any delay, the only easy way is to follow the instruction that Krishna has given in this sloka, which is sharanagati prapatti. Abandon all varieties, kinds of dharmas, and simply take refuge in me alone. I shall remove you from all sins. Do not fear. In our next session, we'll understand how this sharanagati is a stage of one's buddhi. Thank you. Hare Krishna.